to Syria now, where the evacuation of people out of eastern Aleppo continues. A rebel group says thousands are still inside the enclave, waiting to be taken out. Well, buses continued taking people to rebel-held areas on Wednesday. Many were trying to leave or were forced to wait in freezing conditions as the evacuation stalled. Well, TRT1's Ediz Tiyansan is in Idlib and we can join him now live. Ediz, good to speak to you now. Do we expect these evacuations to come to an end within today? And what can we expect afterwards?
Well, yes, the evacuations still continue, and in fact our sources on the ground are telling us that they are working on what looks like possibly the last convoy getting out of eastern Aleppo. They said that they are preparing around 25 buses, each would carry around 75 people, and they also said that at this point private vehicles too are part of the convoy. So whoever is left behind at this point can also take their private cars and be part of the convoy. They say they are in a final attempt trying to get everyone left behind out all together at the same time, and they say that around 5,000 civilians are estimated to be still in eastern Aleppo in that besieged area, and they say that by the end of today possibly the evacuations could come to an end after all of those people left behind also come out of that enclave. Now, after that happens, after the evacuations are over, the city, the eastern part of the city too, will be left to the Assad regime, and after 4.5 years of fighting between the two groups, the regime and the rebels, it will be a turning point in this ongoing civil war, as the once the largest city in Syria, the city of Aleppo, will be left entirely to the regime hands. And also remember that as soon as the evacuations come to an end, it will be also the end of the ceasefire. So we also expect the fighting on the ground to resume, but this time on different front lines.
And Ediz, just tell us a little bit about the humanitarian effort that's obviously ongoing in and around where you are.
Yes, in fact, we're at one of the humanitarian coordination centers in the Idlib province, just near the crossing point over the Turkey. We see a lot of trucks constantly arriving, bringing more aid. And remember that these people, civilians coming out of the besieged eastern Aleppo, they have reached humanitarian aid for the first time in around 6 months or so. They've been cut off from the rest of the world. And even though they now have regular access to basic necessities like food and medical supplies, what they urgently need is accommodation. Remember, we're talking about a big influx of internally displaced people here. Their numbers is estimated anywhere from 40 to 50,000 who have arrived already to the Idlib province. And now the humanitarian agencies are working towards building new refugee camps. We reported earlier this week from a refugee camp called Kemune, which will host around 10,000 tents, each for one Syrian family. And now they are working on another and yet bigger refugee camp. They say it's going to be around 600 dunams for about 25,000 people. So we're seeing more and more refugee camps being created in the Idlib province for these newcomers.
Okay, Ediz in Idlib, thank you.